This is Sarah Shepard, and today we're going to cover scheduled auto actions. I imagine that it will be a bit shorter just because scheduled auto actions are pretty similar to what we've covered before in our last auto action webinar, and they're not really as complicated as some of the other types of auto actions. So today we're going to talk a little bit about why you might want to use a scheduled auto action, and then we're going to go through 3 examples. So we're going to do some record maintenance auto actions, some notification auto actions, and some program management examples. So I'm going to show you how to set up an email that could be sent every week or every month to a certain person, or maybe everyone involved in a program that includes a report. So in this example, I'm going to email the program manager all of the foster care discharges for the month. The reason that you would want to use a scheduled auto action is for any task that happens sort of in the background. So they're really great for database record management, like closing out old files or making sure that families are moving along, just kind of giving people a nudge. And then anything that happens over and over again. So if you are having to pull up a report every month and look at what's happening in your programs or even with your staff, a scheduled auto action is a great option to just email that report to yourself. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started and show you a basic scheduled auto action. So here I am in my demo site here, and our first auto action is going to be a record maintenance auto action that happens every month. So I'm thinking I get a lot of inquiring families, but they don't always move forward with the process, and I don't want to keep all these old inquiring family records open. I would rather just close them out. So I'm going to go ahead and set up an auto action to do that for me. So I'm going to go over here to settings where our auto actions live. And here they are right at the top. And I'm going to create a new auto action over here on the sidebar. And let's call this close inactive families, inactive inquiring families. And we'll just keep that. We don't have to have it execute more than once. We'll have it happen once. And this is going to happen on a schedule because today is all about scheduled auto actions. And then here you can choose how often you want this to happen. So you could close out families weekly. In my example, I'm just going to say every month, I'm going to ask Sam to go through and close out these families. And then it's asking you what day of the month. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I can just pick something towards the end of the month. So whatever fits your reporting, if you're having to look at families at the end of the month or beginning of the month, and then the time of day doesn't really matter. It's not going to have an impact on anybody. It's just kind of happening. And then it's asking what record type it's going to be taking the action on. So in this case, it's going to be happening on the family records. So go ahead and click family. And now it's taking me to the filter screen. So it's asking what families should I do this action on. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my filters here. And really this comes down to whatever criteria your organization would consider a family inactive. But for my case, let's say if the case, and I'll go down to case type, or maybe stage, not substage, stage is inquiry. And let's base this off of communication. Maybe if they just haven't emailed us back ever again, then we're going to go ahead and close them out. So let's go to family communication. You can do this table or you can do the latest table. Latest is just pulling the most recent record. So I might go ahead and do that. So if the most recent communication record, let's do a date field, the enter date, is older. So let's say over 3 months ago. You might want to make this, let's say 4 months ago. So if a family that's inquiring hasn't talked to us for 4 months, they just kind of dropped off, we're going to go ahead and assume that they are no longer interested in pursuing our program. I'll hit save. Now I'm going to ask them to update some fields for me. So let's do the case table, and the stage is withdrawal, I guess. You could say closed. You might want to add something like, I think withdrawal is good enough here. Maybe we can add a little memo to say that they didn't follow up with us, they didn't hear anything back from them. think I have a case memo here. We'll just say closed due to no communication. And that's good enough for me. So I'll go ahead and hit save here. And then we're brought to our auto action screen. So we can see that every month on the 26th of the month, Sam's going to go through and look for inquiring families that haven't spoken to us in over 4 months and close them out. And here we can get a little preview. If you click the view records matching this criteria, this is a really good way to make sure that you've set your filters up correctly. So you can click on any record here. Let's look at Scarlett Johansson and just make sure that she matches the criteria. So we can see that her last communication was in 2011. So it is indeed a good idea to close out her inquiry here. And then if you wanted to, at this point, just to test it, under advanced options, you have the option to run that auto action now. You could do that if you just want to go ahead and kind of get a clean slate and then start again when it runs, but it's not going to run until the 26th of May. But that's a very basic auto action that runs on a schedule that can just do a little bit of case management for you. So from this point, let's do a little bit more active of a scheduled auto action. We're going to send some emails based off expiring licenses or home studies. So let's go ahead and create a new auto action right here. And let's call this one send caseworker email when home study is expiring. And this could happen more than once per record if we have a family who's waiting and waiting and waiting and their home study has to keep being renewed. So we'll go ahead and check that just in case that does happen. We'll hit save and it's going to be a scheduled auto action again. And now you can choose the frequency. So I like this to maybe send this out every week. It could be every month, but I think every week is good. Maybe on Monday morning, it can just go through and look for any case for that social worker that meets this criteria and send them an email. So we'll go ahead and hit save there. Once again, this is going to be on the family table. I think we can go ahead and go on down to the home study table. And we can pull from latest if we want to, or we can just go ahead with the original home study. I'll just go ahead and base it off the latest home study. And now we're going to add some more filters just so that they only get the families that really match. So we'll go to that case table. And let's make sure that the case isn't closed. So I'll go back to that case stage. It should equal that they're maybe in the home study process, maybe they're approved and waiting. Once again, this is really just whatever's going to fit your program's criteria, what you would want, like what you would expect people's stages to be. Let's say approved and waiting. And it might also apply to active adoptions if you've got to make sure that home study is still up to date while they're adopting. So we'll do that one too. And then the last one we want to add is on the home study table. So we'll go down to that home study latest table and look for the expiration date. Home study expiration date. And here's where you can decide how much notice you want to give your staff when a home study is going to be expired. So I say 3 months. You might want to have longer. It really depends on how you handle home studies. So let's say we're going to be looking towards the future. So if the home study expiration date is 3 months in the future, we want to send a caseworker an email letting them know, hey, this is happening. You may or may not have to take action. So I'll hit save here. Oh, actually, so right now it's saying that it's going to match all the filters, and a family would not have multiple case stages. So I'm going to change this to matches some of the filters. But we know that the home study expiring date is what we really are looking for. So we're going to say it has to match this, and then it has to have one of these case stages. I'll hit save here. And this time it's going to send an email. And here you could just type in a little FYI, hey, a family's home study is expiring, but let's go ahead and use a template. I believe I already have one for expiring. Here's the home study expiring alert template. So I'll choose that one. And we were going to email this to the social worker at their work email. And go ahead and hit save here. go ahead and just use all the default settings. We won't confirm because it's happening in the background. And now we have a scheduled auto action. So Sam's going to look every Monday at 8 a.m. at all the family cases, find families that match this criteria, and then email that social worker this template down here at the bottom, just so that they know. So this could work really well if you want to also send anything else like family education or licensing for foster families. This is a great option to set up this scheduled alert if things are happening. You could also have this sent to the family. Hey, your home study is expiring, and here's information about the next steps. So you could totally create a new auto action from this one and send it to the family instead of the caseworker. You might want to change the template as well, but just so everybody's kind of proactive when it comes to expiring alerts. So now let's do something a little different. We're going to send a monthly or weekly report to somebody. So this is going to involve a little bit of template work, but I'm going to go ahead and show you my report. So I set up this report to show me the placement discharges that have happened in the current month. I'm just thinking somebody might need to know what's going on with these kids in foster care. They might need to review this weekly or monthly. So I just set this up and it has some basic information. And what I want to do is have Sam email this to my program manager once a month. So once you have a report that you like, you can go ahead and add this to a template. So we're going to do that right now. If I go back to home, I'm going to go to settings, and we're going to create a template here at Template Designer. And this is a unique template because it's going to be not filtered by a particular record. Usually templates are always pulling information for one family or one child, but in this case, we want to see all the children. So we're going to create a generic template, and I'll show you how to do that. So click here on Create New Template, and we can call this Monthly Placement Discharge Report. Here's my subject line. And then we'll go ahead and hit save here. And then instead of choosing a particular entity, we're going to go down here to generic. So generic is just saying, hey, I want to pull all the information. So from here, we can type a little bit of, oops, not that. Hi there. And now I'm going to insert that report. So what you want to do from your template, oops, I think I didn't want to create a generic template. Okay, I lied. Let's go back. Instead of generic, I needed to do all main entities. You know what? See, I really should have practiced this before. Let's try again. Placement discharges. We'll hit save. I guess we can go ahead and create it under the family. All right, let's try again. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a field, although I'm actually going to be inserting a report. So we have an option here to insert a template report. So I'm going to find that placement. No, it's not. It's under children. All right. Placement report 3. All right. Trying again. Inserting the report. This is for children, and I think I called it placement discharges. There we go. Once you've selected your report on a template, you'll see this little advanced options button here. If you click on that, you get this option that says generic, non-entity specific report. And that's what we want to click, because what that's going to do is show everything on the report. Normally, if you insert a report into a template, it's always filtering it down by the child or the family or the person. But in this case, we want to see everything on that template. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And then we can add a little bit of text to that. And then if we want to be extra helpful, we will add a link to the report. So you can view the report here. That way they can go and view those children right away. So under advanced options, we're going to insert Oh, actually, we can just go ahead and copy the report right here. Here's the URL for my report. We go ahead and put it right here, insert a link. Go ahead and open that in a new tab. There we go. So we'll hit save. And then we can do a preview. If we go to advanced options, open random record, it's going to show us what that email will look like. So it's showing all the information from my report. I can go ahead and click right there to access my report. And now that I've got my template set up, I'll go ahead and set up my auto action. So we're going to go back to settings, auto actions here, and create a new auto action. Send discharge report monthly to Sarah, or whoever it is you want to send this to. We'll hit save, and this is a scheduled auto action. And we'll say that we want it to happen every month, near the end of the month, maybe the 28th, whatever time you want. I think morning is a better time. We'll hit save there. I guess that we want to have this happen for children, so making sure that there has been a discharge. And we'll send that email. Oh, I think it was placement discharge report 3. And you can select a specific email here, or you can manually enter an email. So for particular people, I sometimes just type in the email. Send this to my email here. And there we go. So it's going to send an email to me every month at the end of the month with that template report that we've set up for placement discharges. So this is a really helpful way to set up things for your program managers or people that manage staff. You could make a report of person's social worker licenses that are expiring and send that just so people know anything that you're needing to keep tabs on or maybe follow up with. But yeah, those are 3 basic applications for scheduled auto actions. If you have any specific questions or things you're working on and you want to follow up with us, certainly go ahead and submit a support ticket or just reply back to the email about the webinar. But that's all I had for today. And next month, we're going to be diving a bit deeper into templates. So I'm going to send everybody an invite to next month's webinar on template creation, which of course goes really well with setting up auto actions. So once you have your auto actions kind of practice, you can go ahead and add fancier templates after next month. So thank you all for joining me for this shorter webinar, and I hope you all have a good day.